Hello, welcome back. Another chapter of Red, White, and Royal Blue. Today we are on chapter 8. I have been thinking about it. As the chapters go on, they're getting a bit deeper, very, very serious chapters. And since I already had to spend a whole time on chapter 7 and just put that as one chapter and still filled out a lot of time, I'm thinking maybe I'll just do one chapter for the rest. I'm gonna probably try and do, more to keep up with instead of, doing, one video for two chapters, just getting them out a bit quicker because I'm loving this book and I want to savor it, but I'm also kind of want to stampede through it and finish it because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm loving it. Every time I finish a chapter now, I'm like, oh, this is the best, this is so much fun, and then the next chapter is good, and I'm assuming the next chapter will be good, and it's killing me. I'm loving it. And they're honestly, I don't know how I did the first, 3 videos of just being able to do 2 chapters in one video, because I'm like, there's so much good stuff in these. I wasn't reading as many quotes, but I'm just having the best time. Complete side note, I decided to wear a shirt because I'm always reading this book and they're talking about how they're all dressed up for events or Henry's in a suit as per usual, and I feel always underdressed. So I was like, I'll wear a shirt for once to try and be in the good vibes. It's also it's turned spring and it's starting to get warm enough, at least this week, where I can stand being in this room and not freezing to death. Though we have this funny thing where sometimes in my room, depending on the weather, if it's cold, it's freezing. If it's warm, it's boiling. So, am I dying of the heat because of my light? I haven't said that in a while, but yes. But, that's just the fun of it. Also, again, thanks for all the fun comments. I'm loving them. Enjoyed reading through them. And I really enjoyed because with the first video was the last time I did just one chapter, and I was like, I don't want to talk for too often, I'm sorry, and there were a couple of people we enjoy it. I'm like, thank you, because it makes me feel A, happy, just generally, but B, it's nice to know that even if I do talk too much, which I'm not going to be setting any records, I'm not going to try and talk for 3 hours about one chapter. It could happen, but I'm not going to try. But I'm happy to know that people will enjoy to listen. It's practically a podcast. It's a read-along podcast about Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy that is the turn that this book review reaction read-along has taken place. Read-along because I feel like there are some good bits in this chapter, chapter 8 that we're on, that I need to read out in full length. I can't just do snippets because this has got good stuff in it. But we should probably just hop in. I should stop talking so I can start talking more about the book. Let's jump into chapter 8. We start with some emails, which, in this book is the best thing that can ever be done. Their emails are super cute. These ones are kind of super horny, and I love it. But Henry starts with the "You're so fucking beautiful," talking about how he misses him and his body and how he's always on his mind. The way that they just are always thinking of each other is adorable. And that connection to that level is to me, unfathomable. I can't even think about it. It makes me want to curl up in a ball and die. But just how they constantly have each other on the mind and constantly text, but they're still in this form of, now we kind of talk, but we also don't, we go into some deep stuff, but we don't. They're still at that stage because they still haven't exited, we're not really we're not boyfriends, we're not in a relationship, but also we are. I love it. But they talk about they're driven to distraction. If only they'd know the mighty work of thine loins would be undone by a gay heir who likes an American boys with chin dimples that are mean to him. It's so cute. And then he finishes the email, the first email, titled "You Are a Dark Sorcerer," with, "I'll be damned, but I miss you." I miss you is not a thing that you can say to a casual hookup. To a friends with benefits, I'd assume. But like, they're not the words you use. And I miss you is someone you love. Or, you can love them platonically, friendship, not always romantically. But when you miss someone, you have a good deep connection with them. You don't usually miss people who are just, a passerby, someone you see every now and then. You have to have strong feelings to miss someone. And I love that they're still on that fact of they realize it. Like, they do realize it, but they don't. And but there's a couple of good quotes about it, like, we're not falling in love, but they definitely are. And then in Alex's reply, he says a lot of things. But the bit I circled was, listen, I'll fly to London right now and pull you out of whatever pointless meeting you're in and will make you admit how much you love it when I call you baby. I'll take you apart with my teeth, sweetheart. Okay, smooth guy, calm down. The baby thing, I'm like, how do I word this? I love the movie, do not get me wrong. But there are, like, reading the book, I'm never going to bash on the movie, because I love that thing. That movie is fantastic, and I think they did such a good job. With what I've read, I get that people who read the book first, agree that people can hate it. That's fine. I don't. I love that movie. But there are certain things where I read it, I'm like, I wish they had that, but they didn't have the time. They didn't have the time at all. And a lot of people said, let's go into this. I've seen a lot of comments of people wanting it to be like a series, like, like an 8-episode thing, which I agree would have been good, but I've heard possibly that they didn't have the funding. I don't know. I read small snippets of different things that I actually have no basis on, but I think the way their story is, a movie works really well. I feel like you could, honestly, I wish they did a series as well. Like the same thing, just longer, because I want more of it. But I like the way they did cut out a lot of the politics. A lot of the stuff was cut, obviously time. But I like how the core of the movie was a beautiful romance movie. It had its ups and downs, its trials and tribulations. Like, you felt for the characters really strongly, very quickly in that small amount of time. And there wasn't as focused on heaps of things that we see in the book, but we loved them, and we loved that. Well, I loved that it was just about them. Yes, a lot of characters weren't in it, but it just really solidified them, and I liked the way that worked. But I don't know if I made my point or not, because I've gone on this tangent. The baby thing, I love how in the book, we had that callback to when Henry's at the piano in the movie, and he gets on the phone and he's like, baby, and we get that. But I feel like, obviously the book has more time, the way that we've seen this progression of the baby, he said it by accident. Oh, he says it and he knows he loves it, but none of them will talk about it. Now we're saying that I'll call you baby and I'll make you admit you like it. It just feels like this small thing that we've seen progress with their relationship that I really love. It's cute. It hurts my soul, but it is adorable. And usually you have, Babe's the usual one, which baby does sound a little it wouldn't be my favorite word, but for them, it's just so perfect, because they like it, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be a me thing, because, I don't know, the word baby isn't the word I'd want to use, but for them, it just works. And then they go back and forth with, the emails, and then the last email from Henry says, yours in sexual frustration, Henry, because they want each other. And I just like it how they make these quippy little instead of yours truly or sincerely, Henry, they put all these spins on it. I think it's hilarious. I love it. It's just so much fun. And then straight after the emails finish, we get Alex feels like somebody has probably warned him about private email servers before. He's a little fuzzy on the details. It doesn't feel important. Okay, foreshadowing. Okay. Don't do this to us. I've had my heart shattered once by this. I don't need it again. I don't need the... obviously we're going to get there with all the stuff leaking, but that's going to kill me for a second time. But the way he's just it's not important. Yes, it is. It's going to, I feel actually... in a way, it's kind of a good thing that it happens, but it's not a thing that I would want anyone to have to go through. Like, we're just lucky it's written that, well, actually, I don't know what's going to happen in here, but for the movie, it ended well. So I'm like, it's fine. We don't have to worry. Like, it came out, but things happened because of it. But, God, would that be horrible? You should, the private email, you gotta respect those more. They are smart gentlemen, but all this stuff been written in emails feels too risky. I'm just saying, if you're the head of a country, head of a state, I wouldn't be risking that. Like, I'm like, what if someone just, like, let alone leaks it? What if it's just, like, someone just reads over your shoulder accidentally and is like, why are you emailing about fucking a prince? Oh. Then you just, like, I don't know, have to kill someone out the back because you gotta hide the secret. But I should keep going. We move on where there's a lot of political stuff in this one. Not like, the book's about politics half the time. But there's a lot of it, and I go into a bit of it, but I skip over. They're on a trip to, I think, do the Texas stuff, but his mum's with him, and she's doing a speech. I read it, I take it in, but I don't solidify it in my brain as much. All this good, beautiful little bits of romance, I take in, I think about what I'm going to say. I devise plans of when to bring up, what to talk about. The politics stuff just, especially since, like, A, not a political guy. B, don't know anything about Australian politics. C, really don't know anything about American politics. D, don't even know if they're similar and any of my knowledge could, like, go over. But so I just skip it, okay? I love it, and there are bits I'll talk about, but they're on their way to do something. Speech, politics, yada yada, etc. But I do like seeing more of the mum because it's enjoyable. They talk about, yes, I will make sure everyone knows Houston's rally was your idea, his mother says, barely paying attention as she goes over her speech on the plane to Texas. You should say grit, not fortitude there, June says, reading the speech over her shoulder. Texans like grit. Now, I know it's like a weird bit to put out. I just like that, Henry's trying to be proud with his mum. He's like, this was my idea. She's like, yes, I'll give you the recognition, like, you cocky little shit, but also I love you and also good job. And then you have June here, which isn't, she isn't the politics one. She, as says later in the chapter, she's not the one that chooses that life, but I like that she's using, her set of skills. She's like, use this word, because she's journalism. Yes, journalism. She's like, use that word. This is what they like. This is the good stuff. And I love how their family is like, even June not loving it the most out of everyone, is like, I'm here to help. And I like how solidified they are in, we're doing this, you're going to do well, Mum. It's enjoyable to read. I like the family, like, getting on with it. Then we have a bit more stuff where we're back talking about Alex in his job place. He's in a cubicle. He does work for the campaign and stuff. I pretend to understand. But he's got the cubicle mate, Hunter, who is a character that I definitely have to remind myself is a person every time he comes on. But he cracks the shit because he's reading his binder, the Texas binder, and Alex is getting very defensive. And I like this really starts in this chapter and it continues later, how much Alex cares, which we know and which we see time and time again, but it's just so good. He's like, I've got these plans, like, I want to take over, and this guy's like, it's a red state. You can't, like, change the minds of a red state. It's not going to happen. And he's like, fuck it. If we put time and effort into it, if we convince these people, if we show them we care, if we put in the work, he's so good. He's so, like, strong and convicted. And it's beautiful to see. And he wants to see the good in everyone else. And he kind of snaps at Hunter, Wasby Hunter, little bitch boy. And he's like, fuck it, you're working here too. We want to make a difference. Like, everyone should be wanting to make a difference, which is, it's hard for Alex, I reckon, because he has so much passion for it. And there's a way that obviously some people around him will have passions for it, and some people are kind of, it's just their job and they don't take it as, not everyone in every situation is going to be as committed as anyone else. And I like how committed Alex is, but I feel like he does have to realize that. But Waspy, what was his name? Hunter was been a bit of a dick. He was like questioning him, and like, who cares if you have big dreams? If you want to take over a red state or, conquer the earth, who cares? Like, I like that he wants change and he wants to do things and he works towards his goals. I think it's an admirable quality and I enjoy it. But I think I circled a bit here. Do you forget that you're working on a campaign of someone Texas fucking created, he says, and his voice has officially risen to the point where staffers in the neighboring cubicles are staring. But he doesn't care. Why don't we talk about how there's chapters of the Klan in every state? You think there aren't racists and homophobes growing up in Vermont? I appreciate that you're doing work here, but you're not special. You don't get to sit up here and pretend like it's someone else's problem. None of us do. He takes his bag and his binder and storms out. It's just, no one gets that angry if you don't care. Which, maybe he didn't need to yell at him. Maybe he did. I think he did. Sometimes you gotta lay it all out. I like when people can, say, well, obviously it's written, so no one actually did it, but people do it. I like when people can really get their convictions across sometimes. It's good. And I like how he's like, he comes from a family and he's like, people were horrible to me and my family and, he's endured racism and obviously, well, no one knows he's bisexual, but that would probably contribute to things as well. And then, he's like, other people get that so much worse and, like, we don't want this and, they're everywhere and just because these states, have more of them doesn't mean we can't, change them or speak to the people that we can speak to that will listen to us. I don't know. I really like how much he cares and how much he wants things to change and people to be good. He really sees the good in people. And it's something I, really enjoy about his character. And he doesn't want people who aren't as good to win. Yeah. Okay, then we completely move on. I jump a couple of pages forward. There, Alex gets a letter, an envelope, an invitation from Buckingham Palace. The chairman and the committee of management of the championships request the pleasure of the company of Alexander Claremont Diaz in the Royal Box on the 6th of July, 2020. Which is just like, he said it was like a really fancy letter. To get a letter written like that, oh my god. And then Alex sends it to Henry and he just says, the fuck is this? Aren't there poor people in your country? Second dot point, I've already been in the Royal Box. I read it and I did a chuckle. I was like, that's funny. That was good job, Alex. You're quick-witted. So they're going to, what even is it? The Wimbledon campaign at the tennis. They're watching tennis. They're in the Royal Box. They're royals. They're famous. Fucking David Beckham's there. But like, big deal. And Alex just goes along so he can spend time with Henry, his boyfriend, not boyfriend, but boyfriend, husband, which I love. But they're talking about how he can handle royals even though he has to do a lot of the talking. Which if Alex is anything, he can schmooze his way. He knows how to talk to people. He's political, he's bright, he's smart. He knows how to, even if they, look down on him as being, a son of the first president, which they probably wouldn't as nobles, but, maybe. But maybe, because they might be racist. But he knows his way around. He's so smart. He knows how to get through a conversation. But I just like that, which comes back into play. Henry looks doubtful. You're brave. I could use some of that. Because they're also talking about how Big Brother Philip is there. And how Big Brother Philip is a fucking asshole and we hate him. We get into the Royal Box. Not the one that we see in the sheets. The one that's in display for the public. But it's fantastic. B says, it's in front of everyone. And Henry is like, oh shit. And It is kind of weird. Like, wouldn't you be like, why is the first son of the United States here again? Why is he everywhere? Like, why is he here all the time? I feel like you would maybe. They keep saying they don't have any more like opportunities to lie about why they're together. Can't they just go to places because they are friends? Which is like normal, right? Can't you be friend? Like, they're high political people of different countries. It would make sense that they're friends, but I get why they want to have excuses to be with each other. But B says, "Yes, Henry, in case you've forgotten, you're a royal and this is the royal box." She waves down at the photographers below, who are already snapping photos of them, before leaning into them and whispering, "Don't worry, I don't think they can detect the thick air of Horntown betwixt you two from the lawn." Which is just B's a little shit. I love her. Like, she's very fun, and she's quick, and she says what she says when she says it, and it's fantastic. So then we get on the next page. Basically, Philip is being an asshole. We don't like him. We don't really like his wife either, because she's been a bit like judgy. She literally doesn't say anything. She just looks at us funny. And you look at us funny, I fucking hate you. Don't look at Alex funny, you bitch. She could be a really good person. I'm sorry if she is. She's also fictional, so it doesn't matter. But, you know, Philip is just like asking Henry where he's been, and he's got such undertones and we hate him for it. He's kind of saying he does nothing. Then he's like, "Where's your, you've been with Pez and his foundation," and then he's like kind of racist to Pez and shit. This guy sucks, and he's going to be king, and that sucks. But also, no, there's no also. He just sucks. And they write him well to be an arsehole. Like, I really hate him. I really do. And I understand why Henry gets so, like, nervous about seeing him, because he just kind of puts people down, which sucks, especially as, like, an older brother. Like, you would want someone to be, like, really, not even supportive, just, like, at least fun. Like, fun to like joke back and forth with, but he's just got nothing from him, and it sucks to see. But basically, Henry storms off. Well, he doesn't. He rightfully storms off because Philip keeps hitting too many nerves. He keeps being too much of a shit. We hate everything about him. We hate him and his boringness. He's a boring guy. Even Alex says it. He's like handsome, but he's boring. He's boringly handsome. They go through a fun little series of corridors. There's so many secrets. I love it. There's secret corridors, and they get together because, they don't want to be watching tennis. They want to be together. They want to be kissing each other. And also, Alex knows that he needs to be there for Henry because he's really distressed about it, which I think is so cute. But I'll just read out this little insert. "Do you know what I want?" he says, his voice low and hot, that it burns right through Alex's solar plexus, right into the core of him. "What?" "I want," he says, "to do the absolute last thing I'm supposed to be doing right now." Alex juts out his chin, grinning defiant. "Then tell me to do it, sweetheart." And Henry, tonguing the corner of his own mouth, tugs hard to undo Alex's belt and says, "Fuck me." Fuck me, am I right? That was a steamy little section. And I think we get a bit onto it. I hate having to, like, change the page because I lose my train of thought. But I'm going to go straight into another part and then talk about it. "Awesome. Fucking love doing things out of spite," he says without a hint of sarcasm. He kicks Henry's feet apart. "And it should be. It should be funny. It should be hot, stupid, ridiculous, obscene, another wild sexual adventure to add to the list. And it is. But it shouldn't also feel like last time. Like Alex might die if it ever stops. There's a laugh in his mouth, and it won't ever get past his tongue, because he knows this is him helping Henry through something. Rebellion. You're brave. I could use some of that." The way they use that line and it comes back is fantastic. I love it. The way this is fun, hot sex, like craziness, sexual adventure. They're in like a broom closet in Wimbledon while the tennis is going on, and their roars and their thingies. But like at the bottom line, his brother was just an asshole to him, and he needs like this comfort and emotional support. And maybe you think, which is kind of like oh, why sex that? But it's just something that he can be close with someone and maybe stop thinking about it. I just think it's beautiful. And this is a way that Alex knows it will help him. Like, he's not always a talker, Henry. We have seen that it takes time for him to open up. So this is just like a distraction. And he wants to be able to make him feel like happy. Well, he's going to feel great. But, feel anything he needs to, and he wants to be there for him, and they are boyfriends, and I love it. And I feel like these videos are going to get very repetitive because every time I finish a sentence, I'm just like, I love it, they're boyfriends. But it makes me happy, and I think that's why we love this book. Us that are reading it together, you who has probably read it before me reading it for the first time, I feel like the fun thing is just reading out these these little snippets that I have and just saying, how good was that? Because it is. It's just, it's good stuff. I feel like I go on a tangent about how saying everything's good stuff, and then immediately after I read a section that makes me sad. I feel like that's a theme that I've put myself onto. He watches Henry shrug out of his suit and imagines having to live in it, wondering if Henry simply isn't allowed to choose what his room looks like, or that he never wanted to ask for something different. All those nights Henry can't sleep, just knocking around these endless, impersonal rooms, like a bird trapped in a museum. Whew. So, Alex gets to visit his room for the first time, I'm pretty sure. And, it's just it's boring and old and British and just, filled with crap that's not, has any personality to them. And it just adds another layer of Henry never been able to be himself. And I feel like that goes back to him saying, fuck me, let's have sex. And, that is him getting to do something that he wants to do. That's him getting to ask for it. You go back to these rooms where he doesn't even have things that he likes, and he might have not ever asked for them, and he's trapped. And the things he gets to do with Alex is him choosing what he wants and being himself and expressing love and expressing emotion. I think it's just so joyous to know, that even though we have a lot of sex going on and a lot of fun, cute times, it really is something that is so different for him, and it's needed, and it makes everything more beautiful and profound, and I love it. I love the way that they keep adding these things to make me feel sad for Henry, because I understand more about why he's choosing to do the things he does, which I love so much. Then we learn he plays piano. He's talking about it, he's doing it. He plays a song, and Alex's heart doesn't spread itself out in his chest, and he doesn't have to grip the edge of the settee to steady himself, because that's what he would do if he were here in this palace to fall in love with Henry, and not just continuing this thing where they fly across the world and touch each other and don't talk about it. That's not why he's here. It's not. This denial. The denial is strong with these two. It's like, I'm not here to fall in love. I'm not here to talk about things. My heart isn't about to burst out of my fucking chest because I love this man so much that I would literally burn down the British Empire, the American dream, all for him. I love it. I love the denial. I love how dumb they are. I love how it's written that they're dumb. I love their love, and I will say it, and I will repeat myself. I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry, because A, it's my video. B, don't we all love this? Don't we all think it's fantastic? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'll read something out and I'll make a comment and I'll be like, that sounded kind of smart. Sometimes I say something, I'm like, wow, I know 4 words and it's all, I love this, I love that. Down on that page, Henry says the same 2 words from the secret room at Wimbledon, this time dressed up in please, I need you to. He still can't believe Henry can talk like this, that he gets to be the only one who hears it. So he does. The fact that in this world, it is very sad that Henry, can't be himself. We've said it, he can't, he doesn't want to, he wants to avoid, the things that would happen if he came out, blah, blah, blah. Being the person that is one of the only people who can see who someone truly is has to be special. Obviously, B sees who Henry is, but not even to this extent. Alex is that person, that one of the only, / is the only person who gets to see the true him. And to be that person for someone would be so magical and I don't know, I think it would be delightful, but also you can just see that they're like bonded. Like currently and forever, like that is something that is just it's envious, but it's also beautiful, and you could, their positions would be hard to be in. You could obviously understand that, but I don't know, absolutely adorable. Then a couple of pages on, we get some Zara goss, which is fantastic. We're back. I think we're on a plane again. I think we're on a plane to New York. And we have Zara. She's talking on the phone. She says that she loves someone. And they're like, the fuck? What did you just say? And she's like, nothing. And she's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. And we know who it is because I'm pretty sure it's the same in the book. But we know who it is from well, I do. But I think it's hilarious. They just keep prodding at her. They're like, how do we not know this? Is it long distance? Like, who? I think for her, who is so much fun, like, Zara's such a cool character. She gets all the fun lines. She gets to be quippy. We get to see more of that. To be on the back burner and on the, like, she's getting questioned about so many things. I just think it's funny that she's kind of on the back foot. She's like, I don't know what to say. Stop fucking talking to me. And she doesn't get as much wit out because she's kind of backed into a corner like, oh shit, like they're on to me about something. And it's just so much fun. So that subplot we talked about in the last chapter when Luna and Alex's dad were talking hush hush in secret and we didn't know what that's about, kind of comes to fruition. And we've been hearing some stuff about some guy might be joining Richard's cabinet, his team or whatever, and we've been like, who is it? Like, who's it gonna be? We don't know. Is there gonna be leaks? They're on the plane. We're having this fun bit with Zara. Then they're like landing. Zara goes quiet. She's like, it's Raphael Luna. That's the person joining. He's like, jump ship. So obviously it's like the biggest bombshell. This guy that, has been on our team who, is Alex's queer icon, someone he looks up to in politics, has like jumped off. And it is crazy. Like, I read it and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I quickly looked down. I was like, did I read that right? I'm like, holy sh! Even if I know something in the politics bit of the book is a big deal, something's a big deal. Because I was like, oh shit. But we get some real, like, fallout on this. So basically, they get into like a hotel. It's late at night. They're really like angry about it. This goddamn fucking traitor, duplicitous fucking bastard. They're angry at him, rightfully so. Like, they're annoyed. They were getting badgered by a reporter or someone like, or journalist or something like that. Everyone wants to comment. They're just angry. Like, they're both like professionally attacked and personally because I know Alex saw Luna as like someone who he was really close to, which is horrible. And they talk about it and they feel like obviously they needed to sleep on it and then be angry again in the day because I'm like, you guys need your sleep because you guys have got so much going on. Which it says, I think I need to sleep for like the next year. At least wake me up after the general. Okay, Bug, Alex says. He leans down to kiss the top of her head. I can do that. Thanks, baby bro. Don't call me that. Tiny miniature itty bitty baby brother. Fuck off. Go to bed. Which, just again shows their cute little relationship. But Luna, I don't know how it ends with you in general, but like, fuck you, because we don't like you at the moment. Even Alex texted him like, what the fuck, an arrow, and then he gets back to him, I don't expect you to understand. I think Alex can understand completely why you would have. I think it says here, if I had to guess, Luna thinks we're going to lose, he tells her quietly. And he thinks he can help push Richard's farther left by joining the ticket, like putting the fire out from inside the house. So, I think, that's kind of Luna not understanding at all. Like, as someone who apparently knows him, you should know he's smart enough to understand. Of course Alex is gonna understand, especially you could just give a reason. I don't know, if you cared for him or, you're that friendly with him, you would give something more than just like kind of doing it behind your back. I don't know if we're going to see more on this or read more on it, and I'm not that well versed in actually what's going on. Also, it's a book, but I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck you, Luna. You're annoying. Your little snake switch sides. and it goes such against Alex's morals of, sticking out, persevering, conviction to your side and your morals, your ideas. And I think that's why it crushes him so hard. But what does Alex do? Like what all people do when shit happens. Goes and has a drink. And he's thinking about, Henry, but he's also angry and he doesn't know who to talk to and he wants to call him. And he's at the bar and he hears, "I think I'll have a gin and tonic, thanks," it says. And there's Henry, in the flesh, slided up next to him at the bar, looking a little tousled in a soft grey button-down and jeans. Alex wonders for an insane second if his brain has conjured up some sort of stress-induced sex mirage when Henry says, voice lowered, "You look rather tragic drinking alone." Definitely the real Henry then. What are you doing here? As a figurehead of one of the most powerful countries in the world, I do manage to keep abreast of international politics. Alex raised an eyebrow. Henry inclines his head, sheepish. "I sent Pez home without me because I was worried." Oh, oh, that's so. The way, even Henry is so, he's so involved, he hears this thing on the news, he knows how much it'll mean, he knows him. He truly knows him. It's beautiful. And it says down here, and he realizes the knot of anxiety in his chest has finally slackened. It's rare anyone other than June goes out of their way to check on him. I don't know what to say, man. It makes me sad. It makes me happy and sad, and it's cute, and I love it. The way that, they're really, they're evolving so hard. They're constantly being there for each other. They're showing their care. They listen. They think about what's going on in each other's life. They want to be there to in a way, they just kind of show up to listen. I think that's the most beautiful thing ever. Not even adding an opinion or anything, unless asked. They just show up, say that they're worried, they care, they want them to talk, and they just listen and then give good opinions, and it's beautiful. And I love all of it. I love their relationship. Then Alex is thinking back. If he's some anonymous, normal person, removed from history, he's 22 and he's tipsy, and he's pulling a guy into his hotel room by the belt loop. He's pulling a lip between his teeth, and he's fumbling behind his back to switch on a lamp, and he's thinking, I like this person. They break apart, and when Alex opens his eyes, Henry is watching him. Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Alex groans. The thing is, he does, and Henry knows it too. I've never been more sure of what I wanted to go into politics than I went to Denver. I saw this young, queer guy who looked like me, sleeping at his desk because he wants kids at public schools in his state to have free lunches, and I was like, I could do this. I honestly don't know if I'm good enough or smart enough to ever be enough to be either of my parents, but I could be that. It's just, from having last chapter where Henry really has the time to open up and say things and have someone listen, and then to follow that chapter and have the same thing in reverse for Alex is fantastic. And this page, I don't know if you can see it, is just, you can't really, the grey lead doesn't come out easily, but it's all circled, so I'm just going to read the whole page, I think. Well, I'll read the bits I circled, but honestly, this page was fantastic, and I just loved it. And now I'm sitting here thinking, that son of a bitch sold out, so maybe it's all bullshit, and maybe I'm really just a naive kid who believes in magical shit that doesn't happen in real life. Henry comes to stand in front of Alex, his thigh brushing against the inside of Alex's knee. He reaches one hand down to still Alex's nervous fidgeting. Someone else's choice doesn't change who you are. I feel like it does, Alex tells him. I wanted to believe in some people being good and doing this job because they want to do good. Doing the right thing most of the time and most things for the right reasons. I wanted to be the kind of person who believes that. Henry's hands move, brushing up Alex's shoulders, the dip of his throat, the underside of his jaw, and when Alex finally looks up, Henry's eyes are soft and steady. You still are, because you still bloody care so much. He leans down and presses a kiss onto Alex's hair. And you are good. Most things are awful most of the time, but you're good. Alex takes a breath. There's this way Henry has of listening to the erratic stream of consciousness that pours out of Alex's mouth and answering with the clearest crystallized truth that Alex has been trying to arrive at all along. If Alex's head is a storm, Henry is the place lightning hits the ground. He wants it to be. He lets Henry push him backwards on the bed, kiss him until his mind is blissfully blank, lets Henry undress him carefully. He pushes into Henry and feels the tight cords of his shoulders start to release, like how Henry describes unfurling a sail. Henry kisses his mouth over and over again and says quietly, "You are good." Like, yes, I just had to read it out a whole page because I couldn't even chop that up. Yes, was that like a perfect page? I could like frame that page, and I love it. It's beautiful. I will jump into a couple of bits of it. I'm really just a naive kid who believes in magical shit that doesn't happen in real life. I think he's an idealist, and I think that is one of Alex's greatest qualities. I think you should believe in magical shit, and you should believe in dreams, and believing in people is something good, and I reckon he always will think that. This is just like, you know, when something shakes your resolve or really, really shakes up your life, obviously you're going to question yourself, but at the core of it, he's always going to do that. I think it's one of his greatest qualities, is to see these good things, to want to be good and want good to like prevail, and, you know, to be able to change people. And honestly, I think that's honestly what anyone should try to do in life. You know, there's why not want to spread good and happiness and change things for the better. Like Alex's ideals, while very pure and idealistic, they still make so much sense. Like, maybe that can't be what happens all the time, but if everyone like subscribes to that thinking, you do have a world where things go better and good things change. And even if he's a written fictional character, to think about those ideals and start putting them into your own life is a good thing. Like, I can't imagine, you know, I'll hate bad characters and I'll hate bad people, but like, I feel like I wouldn't go out of my way to, you know, spread a bad rhetoric, where I love Alex's thinking. It's just like, you know, look for the good, try and do good, you know, whether it be making people happy, doing good things, you know, that's the world he wants to live in. And I think that's really, it's a beautiful thing and a good thing to think about. Did I say, take a shot for every time I just said good in that sentence? But moving on, because that page haunts me beautifully. I love it. Honestly, I should just rip it out of the book and put it in a frame, because, oh, what a good page. What a good page. Page 194. I know I've seen a couple of comments of people saying, oh, like, I'll have to reread it after, or like, I just reread it and, you know, it's fun hearing you read it along. If you just need one page to go back on and just have a great time, just go to page 194, because that's my... if you don't want to quickly reread the book, just do that page, because that page is great, even though I just read the whole thing out. So we get that beautifulness, and then I knew this was coming, and I have been looking forward to it for a while. It's Zara catching them red-handed after a night of debauchery, if that's the right word. But this scene in the movie was fantastic, and to be honest, I think the scene in the movie I might have enjoyed better. Don't get me wrong, I loved the scene in the book. I thought it was super fun. I enjoyed it because, you know, you get to hear the inner thoughts, so you get to think a bit more. But just how fun and quick it was, and you could feel all the embarrassment and thoughts and hate, and you could see all the like emotion in the different... I think the movie did this scene like perfectly. Like, I loved reading it, and I was so happy to get to it, and I'm very happy for how the movie did it. Alex continues to fumble to pull up his pants. He snatches a shirt and boxes at random on the floor, shoves them at Henry's chest, points him towards the closet. Get in there. Quiet, he observes. Yes, we can unpack the ironic symbolism later. Go. Just like putting him in the closet. I think it's funny that in a way he's just like has to get in like a thought about, a closet joke, which is great. Yes, it is so very, very chill that you're going to be hungover for today, Zara says, rounding on him. I'm fine, he says. It's fine. As if on cue, there's a series of bumps from the other side of the closet door, and Henry, halfway into Alex's boxes, comes literally tumbling out of the closet. It is, Alex thinks, half hysterically, a very solid visual pun. Like, I read that and I was like, no, that's good stuff. I like all this, like, these funny, like, closet jokes. I think they're a great way to do it. I love their wit. I love that, like, their love's cute too, but their wit and banter is also fantastic. Oh, wonderful, Zara says. I'm so glad you thought this through. Great. How long has this been happening? Since, New Year's, Alex says. New Year's, Zara repeats, eyes wide. This has been going on for several months. That's why you... Oh my god, I thought you were getting into international relations or something. I mean, technically, if you finish that sentence, I'm going to spend tonight in jail. Fantastic. I thought that was such a good line. Alex winces. Please don't tell Mum. Seriously, she hisses. You're literally putting your dick in the leader of a foreign state, who is a man, at the biggest political event before the election, and hotel full of reporters, in a city full of cameras, in a race close enough to fucking hinge on some bullshit like this. Like a manifestation of my fucking stress and dreams, and you're asking me not to tell the president about it? Yeah, I haven't come out to her yet. It's like, it's so... the cuteness and the anger of Zara, and you can see she has respect and she knows what's going on, and she's worked so hard and she puts so much effort into it, and she's like, you're not gonna fuck up this whole presidential campaign. But you can see, when he says that I haven't come out to her, she's like, she's like, I'm not gonna out you even though I want to, not in a rude way, you're just ruining my life. And she's obviously she doesn't do it, and she's like, you'll tell her yourself, you fucking get your shit together, which is hilarious. But I'm just like, oh my god, so much stuff's going on, and her lines they give her is fantastic. And it ends with her saying, and you, she rounds on Henry, you need to get back to fucking England now. And if anyone sees you leave, I will personally end you. Ask me if I'm afraid of the crown. Duly noted, he says in a faint voice. Zara fixes him with a final glare, turns on her heel, and stalks out of the room, slamming the door behind her. For a beautiful, and you get these beautiful, lovely, romantic, deep moments between the two. Having that as the end of the chapter was so fun, because you end on this really kind of funny, joyous note with Zara, and she's such a fun character, and it's good seeing more of her and being able to enjoy that. But I do love in the movie where what does she say? She rips into Henry, and then she says, Your Royal Highness, and leaves. And I thought that line was fantastic. And obviously I like seeing the facial expressions in the movie. I think that's why that scene is fantastic, but it was great in the book too. And just having Henry fall out of the closet and being so lost for words, but them also saying don't tell my mom, but also I'm standing by this relationship, I'm seeing him again, and her having to kind of accept this and be like, well, an NDA has been signed, but also it was a good end. I feel like usually we have a chapter end on a sad, cute moment or a real cliffhanger, kind of cliffhanger. But to have this really funny end was good for once. I felt like a pep. I feel a pep in my step. I'm not left with this super longing to quickly read the next chapter or just be depressed and devastated. I'm like, that was good. That was good stuff, and just getting to see more of it was absolutely fantastic. But this chapter, I titled the last video my favorite chapter, or best chapter yet. I don't even remember what I titled it, and I still agree. And it was a bit longer, but this chapter was fantastic too. I got another comment that was said some of their favorite chapters, but I remember it was 7, 8, and 10, and I was like, I do understand why 8 is such a good chapter, because you just had that, we had 7, we had Henry sharing all this stuff, about the tragedy of his life, all this stuff. We got to see Alex and how he dealt with that. And then we have this bitch, Luna, fucking betray us. And, you know, Alex needing to talk about his feelings and what he feels and needs to get things off his chest for different sad things and thoughts and his morals. And Henry gets to listen and then comment on that. And it's just this whole, like, you know, it's the same thing in each chapter but swapped. And they are both fantastic and they're both so good to listen about. And they make you love the characters so much more. It makes you love each of them, love them together, love their love. Oh, I'm fulfilled. Every chapter just like fills me up. A little meter just like of my heart, just like fills up. And when I finish this book, I will explode. I will be gone. I will explode into, I don't know, confetti. But it's another chapter done. We really hit some time, but it's not my fault. People said they enjoyed having me talk for so long, so I guess I just have to. But yeah, I've had another fantastic chapter. I'm sure plenty of great chapters to come. I don't know if I'll be doing 1 or 2 chapters for the next couple. I usually read the chapters one at a time anyway, so I kind of want to do 1 chapter per, like, video. But I'll see how long they are, how much stuff's in them, and I'll decide. Maybe they don't have to be... It doesn't always have to be like an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe we'll throw some random ones. Some will be 2, some will be 1. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out and see how we go, because we don't have that long left. I'm definitely over the halfway mark, and that makes me sad, but also kind of excited. But you now get some peace and quiet, not having me talk. But I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.